Good morning, I am Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. France crowned the world champions after defeating Croatia 4-2 in the final at Moscow's Luzhniki Stadium last night. The government adamant on tabling the National Medical Education Bill in Parliament without changes, turns blind eyes towards the swelling support for Dr. Govinda Keshi's hunger strike. Ruling Communist Party of Nepal deviates from its principle, encourages commercialization in crucial sectors like health and education, among others. And US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin upcoming meeting to mark symbolic end to the American effort to isolate Russia after its annexation of Crimea. The medical education bill registered by the government on the 6th of July has not been endorsed yet. The main opposition Nepali Congress has been obstructing the parliament, citing that the bill is against the norms of the ordinance issued during its leadership. On the other hand, Dr. Govinda Keshi has been staging fast unto death in Jumla for the past 17 days, saying that the government has moved ahead with the bill contrary to the agreement forged with him. The House obstruction and no initiation for negotiation have added challenge on finding an outlet to the quagmire and saving the life of Dr. Keshi. At a time when Dr. Keshi and his supporters, along with the main opposition Nepali Congress, have refuted the bill put forth by the government on the other hand has maintained that the bill is in line with the sentiment of the report presented by the task force led by Tribhuvan University's former Vice-Chancellor Kedar Bhaktamathema. Meanwhile, the government has alleged the main opposition of shying away from cooperation in order to find a common ground over the underlying aspects of the education bill. The protesters, including Dr. Keshi, have remained firm in their stance that the government has breached the past agreement of prohibiting affiliation to new medical colleges inside the Kathmandu Valley for the next 10 years. Nepali Congress has alleged that the government has attempted to nullify the Mathema report in the pretext of establishing the powerful National Medical Education Commission. Although facing widespread pressure to revise the medical education bill registered at the parliament, the government has so far refused to budge from its stance. The bill has also been currently exempted from the parliamentary proceedings due to persistent differences between the government and the opposition. The whole scenario has led to uncertainty over saving the life of Dr. Keshi, whose health has been deteriorating by the day, and the formulation of policy regarding the country's medical education sector. Smuggling of petroleum products from Nepal to India has increased in recent times as fuel products are priced 25 to 30% higher in India in comparison to Nepal. Nepal Oil Corporation and the police department have turned blind eyes despite the open smuggling of petroleum products. Petrol is sold in India at 28 rupees higher than in Nepal, while diesel is priced 25 rupees more. The smuggling of fuel products has increased in bordering districts including Dhanusa and Mahottari. Petroleum smugglers are openly involved in this activity as security personnel deployed at the border area are also involved. Indian vehicles also reach fuel stations in bordering districts as petroleum products are easily available in districts of province 2 at a cheaper price. The question that remains unanswered is regarding the apparent lack of awareness of Nepal Oil Corporation, as it is yet to take any action despite increasing smuggling of petroleum products. More than 80 fuel stations operate in Dhanusa and Mahottari under the Nepal Oil Corporation depot in Mandirnagar of Dhanusa district. These stations have been distributing 2 million litres of petrol and 6 million litres of diesel every month. Despite the smuggling of around 30% of fuel to India, monitoring remains to be carried out. In principle, communists are against all forms of capitalism. However, the government led by the Nepal Communist Party in the country has been encouraging commercialization in the crucial sectors like health and education, among others, which is ironically against the principle of socialism. The proposition of the constitution itself has pledged to lead the country towards prosperity with dedicating towards the norms of socialism. The joint election manifesto of the then CPN-UML and CPN-Maoist Center also had vowed to implement the socialism-based democratic republicanism and ensure social justice to all. The public had bestowed their vote to the ruling party on the very anticipation of the fulfillment of the constitutional responsibility. The Nepal Communist Party has 2/3 majority at the center and is also ruling in 6 of the 7 provinces. But although having a historic chance to rule the government with a huge majority, the current government is vehemently inclined towards the commercialization of sensitive sectors like education and health, which is also against the underlying principle, dignity, and the election manifesto of the country's Communist Party. The government's attempt to hand over the medical education sector to private businesses against the suggestions and recommendations of experts is a clear example regarding the scenario. Although it would take some time to fulfill the promises made during the elections and complete implementation of the constitution, the government does not even appear interested in moving ahead in this regard. Analysts are of the view that the attempt would not only be harmful to the ruling Nepal Communist Party, but also to the entire nation and its citizens as well. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, do stay with us. Yesterday, we had asked the residents of Kavre and Kapilvastu regarding what they think should be done to ensure easy access to education and health services across the nation. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
अस्पतालहरु हुनुपर्छ सुविधा हुने गरी जनताको पहुँचमा हुनुपर्छ अब अहिले चाहिँ नेताहरुको पहुँचमा ठुलठुला बडाको पहुँचमा मात्रै छ
जुन पढाइ हाम्रो भइराछ त्यो चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकल बेस्ड हुनु पर्यो
एउटै शिक्षा हुनुपर्छ बोर्डिङ अनि सरकारी त्यस्तो हुनु हुँदैन सबैलाई एउटै किसिमको शिक्षा हुनुपर्छ र सरकारबाट लगानी हुनुपर्छ शिक्षा निशुल्क हुनुपर्छ
शिक्षामा विद्यार्थीहरुलाई फिस नलिन पर्यो
स्कुलहरुमा राजनीति गर्न नदिएर पढाइलाई चाहिँ निरन्तरता दिनु पर्यो स्वास्थ्य सम्बन्धी धेरै ज्ञान गुणका कुराहरु सिकाउनु पर्यो
स्वास्थ्य र शिक्षालाई सर्वसुलभ बनाउनलाई अब सुत्केरी हुने देखि लिएर गएर सब गाउँ-गाउँमा व्यवस्था हुनु पर्यो अर्थक भन्दा पनि इंग्लिश मिडियाबाट पढाउने चाहिँ एकदम छिटो भन्दा छिटो हुनु पर्यो के
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, how can life of agitating Dr. Govinda KC be saved? Your options are A. Addressing his demands by the government, B. Pressure from civic society, and C. Role from the parliament. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and then send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And now before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. France crowned the FIFA World Cup champions in 2018 after defeating Croatia 4-2 in the final at Moscow's Luzhniki Stadium last night. Government adamant on tabling the National Medical Education Bill in Parliament without changes turns blind eyes towards the swelling support for Dr. Govinda KC's hunger strike. Ruling Communist Party of Nepal deviates from its principle, encourages commercialization in crucial sectors like health and education, among others. And US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin upcoming meeting to mark symbolic end to the American effort to isolate Russia after its annexation of Crimea. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.